Great tracks. Great cars. Great drivers. Net Racing Europe.
Hello, I'm Ryan Callan and welcome to the 5th round of Net Racing Europe's GT3 Masters 2013 Championship. And we are here today at Brno, the fabulous, fast, wide track in the Czech Republic. And the two races here today, both 30 minutes in length, 15 laps these races will be. And with the laps around about 2 minutes long. That equals exactly 30 minutes, I would say, for these races. So we've got two exciting races coming up for you after a good race at Donington and two excellent races at Ruapuna Park in the previous two broadcasts. Let's run you through the track presentation then. Net Racing Europe's GT3 Masters 2013. As I say, it is round 5. However, it is race 8 of the season. As you see the map filling in there, the places we've already been to, there, right in the heart of Europe, is Brno, middle of the Czech Republic, undulating track, lots and lots of corners on the track, lots of fast corners. As you can see, many overtaking opportunities also as well as a result of that, especially out of turn 1 down into turn 3. Here are the standings in the championship. And Sebastian Hauer still leads the championship, as he has done since the first round. But that championship lead has been cut by Aladish's win last time out at Donington Park to 11 points now. But look at those weight penalties. 138 kilograms for Hauer, 96 for Steb Aladish also. See his fish on 60 and Ozinski on 65. We saw the effects that had in the last race on Hauer. But he's got even more now. So looking to see what effects that will have coming up, and we'll expect to see someone like perhaps Marcel Abraham or Sven Kovalik be the fastest race drivers at Brno this time around, because they are fast drivers without any weight at all, especially after Kovalik's run of bad luck in the last two races. So let's go into the stream then. We're about to go into qualifying. As you can see, it's just up qualifying just as we went to the next scene, so that was excellent timing for us. And here we have qualifying about to get underway. Just so you know, for those who don't know about the rules, and no smoking, of course, as you can see in the pit lane. So no burning that rubber, boys. The rules for the Net Racing Europe GT3 Masters for qualifying. It is Super Pole, but it's a double Super Pole. You get 2 hot laps, so 1 out lap, 2 hot laps, and 1 in lap. You must complete at least 1 hot lap before you can return back to the pits. But you don't have to do the second lap, but of course most do tend to do that anyway. So there is Sven Kovalik. He was fastest in practice, as I was saying he may have been. With Ozinski second and Matthias Fish in third, with Mike Rayback and Aladish 4th and 5th, with Hauer back in 6th. It seems the only way to beat Sebastian Hauer at the moment is to give him more and more weight. And the organisers are scratching their heads, wondering how on earth we're going to beat the fabulous German driver. He almost put it on pole position at the last round, even with a huge penalty, weight penalty also. There is Mike Rayback about to go out onto the grid. Here he is. We'll follow along with him, shall we? In fact, we'll just check, see if any of the other front runners have gone out early in this run. And it seems like that is not the... Oh, Aladish has gone out early. So let's ride on board with Stef Aladish. One last time out at Donington Park, of course. You wouldn't say he was the fastest driver last time out at Donington Park. It looked like Matthias Fish had his number, but made a mistake late in the race after pushing through the pack after a poor qualifying. But if Fish doesn't qualify so well this time around, we know not to write him off, because he was fabulous driving through the pack at Donington Park. Drivers will have to go out pretty early in this session, of course. It's only 10 minutes long, and the lap is 2 minutes. The out lap would be nearer 3, of course. As a result of that, you just warming up your tyres, not using them too much. And so to get 2 laps in, you have to set off within 3 minutes. It takes you 7 minutes to do the full thing, of course. And R factor, you can't cross the line with 1 second to go and still have an extra 2 minutes. So you must set off with 5 minutes to go in the session, I would say, if you want to get in 2 full laps and put yourself in the correct position. As you can see, this track, all the undulations, all the elevation changes also as well. say undulations, I was actually just meaning elevation changes. No undulations at all. It's very flat, smooth track with long fast corners, and none longer or smoother than this first turn. Steve Aladish is going to tackle now. And he's missed actually the apex going into that first corner as well, so that's not a good start to the qualifying session for Stev. And goes through turn 2 and into turn 3 here. This is probably my favourite opportunity on this track. So you get a great run out of that first turn and do that nice little switch back and down the inside in here. But of course Stev doesn't have to worry about that. He's in a qualifying run. Pit bump going to braking, of course, as you can see. Switches back once again, and this track is characterised by long sweeping corners going left and then right and left and right and right and left. It really is a roller coaster ride, and you need a car that changes direction into another tight turn and another one once again. Camber there, catch it down the hill. Tricky going down the hill into this corner actually, in fact, and you're not approaching very quickly, and it's not a big braking zone as a result because it's not a fast corner either. But because it's going downhill, it is easy just to miss your mark by a couple of metres. Of course, a couple of metres is enough to send you right offline and ruin your lap. And around the back of the circuit now into this right-hand braking downhill for this one also. Also a very tricky braking zone into here. As you can see with Stev there completely missing the apex. Well, he gets it back just about on the exit. Not lost too much time. And now he's going to fly left here. Great corner this one. Flick it left and then flick it right and just squeeze the power as much as you dare because it's all the way uphill, of course. So it is one of the most crucial corners on the track because if you don't get a good run up there, then you lose it all the way up the hill here, and any disadvantage that you have is exaggerated by that steep hill. Now through the final couple of corners, see what Stev is going to post here. So 1:58.270 for Stev Aladish, and 1:57.15 should I say. It's actually Mika Behrens who set the 1:58.25. With Carlson has gone into second spot with a 57.8, while Ricard Vieden has gone into 57.9 with Anderson in a 2 minutes .036 and 2 minute 5.199 for Stefan Meisner. He's definitely made a mistake on that lap. You have to have it all to do on this lap instead, so the pressure is on this lap for Stefan Meisner. Kovalik is out on track at the moment. He's gone through that first sector, and Ronald Fox has gone into 6th position. Kovalik is already half a second up. Comes now with a great shot, going over the hill and then sweeping down once again. Very stereotypical corner at this track. And Kovalik now, what will he set? Charges towards the line. Surely he'll beat the time he does. Only just lost a couple of tenths in that final sector, despite the fact Aladish has 96 kilos more than Kovalik. So Kovalik won't be too unhappy with that, but we won't be too happy with that either, as Kovalik stood at 56.788. That's the marker at the moment. Matthias Fish has gone fourth with a 57.602, as you can see there. Fox is back down to 10th, Meisner 11th. We got Ozinski, and Howard's gone 7th, so he must have done a lap over 2 minutes because Howard was right on the 59.9. Oh, for 158 should I say, because Howard was Beeden was a 57.9. So Hagman's got a 58.1 to go 8th. And now Marcel Abrahams has gone 57.7. So he's backing up his teammate well, but Marcel will perhaps look to go a bit quicker than that because he is without weight for this run. This is the championship leader we're watching right now. Leads by 11 points from Steve Aladish. Third in the last race. Carlson goes fourth with 57.3. He's improved. There's an important lap from Sebastian Hauer. He needs to get this right. What's the split as he comes to the line there? Oh, he's way down. Oh, it's not actually giving us a split at the moment, so that's interesting. Oh, it has given us a split. In fact, that is the best that Sebastian Hauer will do. So he's just traipsing around back to the pits at the moment. So Hauer has not gone well here at all. I don't know if he's actually set a lap time. He must have set a lap time for him to be in 10th spot at the moment. So that is disastrous for Sebastian Hauer. Long afternoon ahead for Sebastian Hauer. Of course, he got that weight for both of the races here. And back into the pits he goes. So Ozinski went second. We did miss that, but he's still out on track at the moment. He was a 10th slower than Kovalik. Is Kovalik still out on track at the moment? He is about to finish his lap. Here he comes. And he improves with a 56.26. That's more like it, he'll be saying to himself. That is very much more like it. I would say he's the favourite for 2 race wins here. Not to put the drinks on him too much because had a disconnection at the last 2 races. And Matthias Fish goes in second spot with a 56.8. That's an excellent lap with 60 kilos on board. Osinski's got 65 kilos on board. Let's see what he can do. He's 2 tenths up on Kovalik in that first sector. That's a fantastic effort from Derek Osinski. He won at Ruapuna Park at race 2. Beat Sebastian Hauer in a straight fight there. Of course, Hauer had a little more weight than Osinski, but still. It was very impressive. Marcel Abrahams goes into 6th. I think he stayed 6th, in fact. Mike Rayback has gone into 5th. Ronald Fox is a brand new driver to Net Racing Europe, and he's back there in 15th spot. Won't be too disappointed by that. He's not far behind his standard to the set, as Myers went in 13th spot. And I think he's still up. He's up by just 16 thousandths of a second. But the problem is, with his weight, he has to now make all the way up this hill. And he's coming now to the final 2 corners. Osinski, what can he do? Will he usurp Kovalik? Kovalik will be furious if so. Osinski has no right to beat his time and doesn't, but it's only, well, it's less than 2 tenths of a second between Kovalik and Osinski. And Osinski, with that extra weight on board, maybe he's a challenger for Kovalik in these races. So first Kovalik, second Osinski, third Fish, fourth Aladish, with 5th Rayback, 6th Abraham, 7th Andreas Carlson, as you can see here, we didn't see him too much in there. Mika Behrens in 8th, with Ricard Whedon in 9th, Sebastian Hauer in 10th. He will not be happy about that, so we'll keep an eye on him going through the pack. Hagman is still out on circuit at the moment. I think he's just going back into the pit lane, just doing an in-lap. Oyvind Anderson is in 12th. His son is not here today, Tor, so that's a shame. I call them brothers, I think, previously, as Becker is 13th. He's just making his way back to the pits also as well. I think everybody is, in fact. Meisner finished up 14th in the end, so Becker got ahead of him with 15th spot, Ronald Fuchs, and in 16th spot, of course, was Simrace TV. That's not anybody at all. I'll pay attention next time. So, start at the back of the grid with Simrace TV. We're not very fast drivers at Simrace TV. We can only talk. We can't drive. But congratulations to Sven Kovalik. He has taken pole position here, as I presume he expected to some degree, having that weight advantage. And Osinski will be delighted, though, with 2nd spot, as will Matthias Fish. And Aladish in 4th will also be pretty pleased with that, considering he's 6 spots ahead of his nearest title rival. Fish is only himself 18 points behind Sebastian Hauer in the championship anyway. So, of course, that's also a fillip for Fish's championship hopes. Kovalik went into the championship with a chance of the championship. He felt he could mount an attack, but that's been scuppered by the last couple of races where he, Ruapuna Park didn't go very well for him. Bit scattered there. And of course, disconnection in the second race and a disconnection in Donington Park also, which is a double points event. So basically three point scores lost there, because it's double scores, of course, at Donington Park. A big blow for Sven Kovalik. He was looking good for perhaps a win, in fact, at Donington Park. So put him 70 points forward. That put him 170 points, just 40 points behind Sebastian Hauer. So that shows how much it has hurt his championship. As I say, there are 2 races coming up here. And I apologise if you can hear all the seagulls in the background. I live on the coast and it's so warm today, I have to have the windows open. So if the seagulls feel like they want to join in on the commentating, then I can't actually really help it. I do apologise for that. Becker is back for this race. We're going to warm-up session now. Let's go on board with somebody and show you the track in its full light. In fact, let's go on board with our pole sitter and sit back and enjoy the guttural sounds of this Ferrari F430. You're watching the Net Racing Europe's GT3 Masters 2013 Championship, round 5 from Brno. I'm Ryan Cullen, and we're about to go into the race here. Looking forward to that very much indeed. Oh, Aladish at the first corner. Just trying out a few new lines, it seems, a few new techniques. You see the elevation changes on this track and how much throttle is required on this track as well. It really is a power track, and using all the track there, Aladish was also, on board with Kovalik, was doing pretty much the same as the drivers. Just get familiar once again with their cars in their race trim. Of course, the differences you could have would be between qualifying and race trim. Could be less camber on the tyres, so that the tyres last longer. Of course, the more camber you have, in theory, the more grip you have through the corners because of the way the tyre flexes, and you have more contact patch on the road as you go through a corner, as the rubber gets crushed. Of course, that means the tyre heats up more because it's in more contact with the road. So during the race, when of course you're doing more and more laps, you don't want the tyre to heat up too much, so you'll have less camber. Of course, there'll be less fuel in the car than there would be qualifying racing. And a few different changes. For example, maybe wing settings will be different to make it a bit more stable in the race. And of course, you can deal with it for one lap, but you don't want to deal with it for 15 laps. And that's the difference between qualifying and race setup in general. Is qualifying doesn't matter. You've only got to do is hang on for it for one lap. Of course, in the race, much more difficult to do that for 15 laps in a row. And of course, the further you get in the race, the more your tyres get worn, the more leery your car gets. So having it stable is one of the key aspects of that. Of course, the very, very quickest drivers, they can pretty much drive a qualifying setup in the races. So that's the difference between mere mortals like ourselves and people like Sebastian Hauer in these races. So, I'm going to get all set here for the formation lap. It will be a long formation lap, in fact, here. So we've got plenty of time to chinwag about the championship. And the first race, we also see a rundown of the qualification times there also, which is helpful for you guys. In the first race this season at Oschersleben, Hauer dominated the race and took the win. We went to Curitiba for the second lap. My apologies. I saw the lap on the bridge above there and said the word lap instead. In the second race, the second round of the season, there was 2 races at Curitiba, and at Curitiba it was Kwiatkowski and Kovalik who won the races there. And then we went to Ruapuna Park for races 4 and 5, and races 4 and 5 were won by Hauer, second race winner of the season, and then Uzinski, his first race win at Net Racing Europe. And then for round 4 of the championship and race 6 of the season, I was not too confusing. We have a split between sprint races and endurance races in the GT3 Masters. In round 6, race 6 and round 4 this season, Donington Park, it was Steve Aladish who came out as the race winner there. So we've gone from Hauer to Kwiatkowski, Kovalik, Hauer again, Uzinski, and Aladish. those are the winners this season, and this is race 7 of 17 in this championship. So plenty of times for things to change in the championship, and plenty of gaps in the point system also, a la Formula 1. So plenty of points to make up should there be any problems. And for example, Sebastian Hauer is going to be 10th in this field, and I would guess the best he can hope for from this race is a top 5, I would say. So it's high time for his championship contenders to make sure they make some of this ground up, because at Donington Park they didn't quite do that when they had the opportunity. They dawdled in the pit lane, they had long pit stops, and they lost those opportunities that they could have had. Anyway, Kovalik is leading the field round, as you can see. I'm going to look back over Kovalik's car now. Apologies for skipping through all the cameras. No other way to do it, unfortunately. That is the only way you can get the onboard cameras and go through them. Looking back at Ruzinski. 3rd spot is Fish, 4th is Aladish. So those are the front 4 on the grid. 5th, Rayback, and you see that bright yellow McLaren MP412C in the background. Coming through final couple of corners here now. Going to take up their grid spots. Long run to the first corner also, and it's a fast first corner, so plenty of opportunity for incident. Very, very easy to run wide, run deep, straight in that gravel. Ooh! And Matthias Fish almost right into the back of Kovalik as he completely overshot his grid slot there. So a sprint race, here we go. Half an hour long, 50 laps. Kovalik's on pole position. And there are the lights. 4 lights are on, and 4 lights are out, and away we go. There's a great start there from Kovalik. It's a slow start from Aladish, not helped at all by, of course, by his poor weight also. So he's gone through a poor start and has been swallowed up by the field at the moment. So we've got here is Kovalik. In 2nd place is Uzinski. 3rd place is Fish. That's how they came off the grid. Who's in 4th though? In 4th is Abraham. So it is Aladish who's got back. There's Aladish. He's back in 7th spot. So 5th is Rayback. 6th is Hagman. What a start from Marcus Hagman. Oh, it's not Marcus Hagman, sorry, it's Ricard Weeder. I do apologise to Merckx. Didn't have him at Donington Park last time around, so we've gone out him somewhat. And Hauer is already up to 8th, so 2 places gained in the opening lap for Sebastian Hauer. That's important. And Rayback is challenging Abraham into the turn down here. Oh, and Weeden wanted to get involved also as a result. And here comes Aladish around the outside of Weeden. Can he make a move here? Oh, it's a very, very dangerous spot. Oh, there's contact. There's contact. And Aladish is going to go way back in the field. Let's try and pick. There he is. There is his 12th spot, is he? No, he's 11th. He's gone back to 11th. Oh, no, that's Behrens. I apologise. That's because my screen is very, very fuzzy. I only got a quick glimpse of that car going past that black and red Audi. Where is he at? Is he in 13th? He is in 13th, and he's some way back. As we have Ronald Fox, has had an incident along with Ronald Becker also. So that's not good for those guys. But back to the front of the field. Kovalik still leads, but Uzinski is not letting him get away at all. I apologise if I just called Becker. If I call Ralph Becker Ronald, his name is actually, of course, Ralph Becker. We had Ronald Fox ahead of him. So you see the different lines out of that final corner. That's a great overhead shot, that is, as they come now over line for the first time. It's Kovalik, Uzinski, Fish, Abraham. So Abraham in 4th has got past Rayback. So Rayback back to 5th. Weeding the 6th with Hauer in 7th. So he's gained 3 spots already. And Aladish, as I was talking about, you have to take advantage of Sebastian Hauer's troubles. He qualified in 10th, and Aladish qualified in 4th. Didn't get a good start, was back to 7th, tried to dive down the inside of Weeden in a very difficult braking spot, because there's no braking area there at all, really, in which to outbrake your opponent, and is now back in 13th spot and has a long road ahead of him in this race. And of course, with it being a sprint race, not very much time to do it. Rosinski there, Fish, these three doing well. Car bumping around there for Matthias Fish, looks very stiff indeed, his car here. And Marcel Abraham has really latched onto the back of these guys. He's absolutely charging at the moment. He was behind Rayback before, halfway around lap 1, and look where Ryback is now, and look where Abraham is. So he's opened up a good margin there, and he's trying to zoom up to the back of Matthias Fish. Different lines there also. Some people like to sacrifice the exit for a good entry through the previous corner. So lots and lots of different techniques here. Right back there, he is in 5th. There's Whedon, he's in 6th. Sebastian Hauer in 7th. He has 138 kilos on board, remember. Incredible amount of weight for that Corvette to handle. Brzezinski is still just behind Kovacic. As you can see, that gap is still there. Head up the hill. This is the end of the second lap. Already 2 laps gone by, just 13 left. Ball with Brzezinski, looking forward. There is Kovacic. He doesn't want to see that. He wants to see Kovacic's car bigger. In fact, he would like to see Kovacic's car in his rear view mirror. Quite frankly, even more ideally, not see Kovacic's car at all. As long as it's behind him, of course. Passes lap from Kovacic then. This is the view from Fischer's car. Marcel Abraham, 1.5 seconds off Matthias Fish, still at 1.5 second gap. Lost 7/10 though to Kovacic since at the end of the first lap. There's Ryback, and now he's under pressure from Whedon. And Hauer stalking in behind, looking for any little scraps that will drop from this table. It's the only way really he can make progress, because that car is so heavy, it's difficult to do. Oh! We've lost Whedon! We lost Whedon! We have lost Whedon! There's Anderson. There is Hagman. Yeah, I thought that was Hagman. So Whedon's 11th spot. Where has Whedon gone? In 30. There he is in the 13th spot. So that little spin that we saw was a huge. That wasn't great at all, was it? Oh, back with Becker. So that little spin we saw from Whedon was massively costly. He was running very well indeed in that 6th spot. Just had a very small spin at a very low speed part of the track. I thought it was just a slide, but he just disappeared from view, and that was it. We didn't see him once again, so that means Hauer is now in 6th. Hauer is in 6th, but as I said, 5th spot is the best he can hope for in this race, and I still believe that, because although he's in 6th spot already, he does have Ryback ahead of him, as a second ahead of him, and of course Marcel Abraham is way ahead of him. There is Marcel Abraham finishing his lap. There he comes across the line, and we'll monitor the gap back to Sebastian Hauer. The gap is already 3.5 seconds, so really, as I say, Hauer will just get a top 5 here, and he won't be too dissatisfied with that, especially with his closer challenger Aladish out of the top 10 at the moment. He's still in 12th spot, and of course Aladish himself has 96 kilos on board, so will find it hard going to make rapid progress, if any progress at all. Kovacic still leading. First, Brzezinski is in 2nd, 3rd is Fish, 4th is Abraham. Look back, actually, this battle between Hagman and Carlson. Here we are. Anderson there also involved. Look at the different lines as they go through the switchbacks. Look how much Anderson pulls away as a result of taking that wider line, get a better exit. And we've lost Meisner also as well, I think, from this. And that's Behrens in behind, sorry, should I say. So Meisner is behind Behrens. That's Behrens in behind Carlson. My apologies. Mickey Behrens is in the top 10, so he'll be pleased with that at the moment. Of course, still 12 laps to go. Carlson working over Hagman at the moment. Hagman's been having much stronger races than qualifying lately. Oh! And around has gone Anderson. Oh! Almost backed into Mickey Behrens then also. That was dangerous stuff. Should really have been holding the brakes there, Anderson. And that means Aladish is up to 11th. In fact, Aladish is up to 10th now, so he's gone past Stefan Meisner. Aladish into 10th. Really made this race much harder than it needed to be. Started in 4th. He's now back in 10th after a poor start. It's going to please me. We've got 2 red and black Audis coming up together. In minutes I won't be able to tell which from which. I'm sure how we'll cope though. Back to the front of the field. Let's see what's happening. Kovacic still leading. Fastest lap of the race. 1 second is a gap still though, so Brzezinski's not letting him get out of sight. Zinski's certainly motoring at the same time. And Zinski himself is only 32 points off the lead of the championship, so a second spot for him will be very, very pleasing indeed. He'll gain plenty of ground on Sebastian Hauer, who is in 6th spot and has still not got past Mike Ryback. He'll just be tracking Ryback and trying to pressure him and get Ryback to make a mistake. Ryback, of course, took out his own teammate at Ruapuna Park. Fish had to struggle to 12th spot in that race as a result. Were it not for that, it might be Fish who's leading this championship and not Sebastian Hauer. Ryback missed the race at Donington Park, so maybe Fish went round to his house and told him he was suspended from the next race. You're not racing in the next race. And Fish almost won, he came second. So obviously paid off. I'm just joking, Mike, I'm sure that everything was okay. Of course, Mike didn't do it on purpose in the slightest. One of those opening first corner lap incidents, especially at Ruapuna Park, with that first corner that leads into the hairpin. A very tricky first corner indeed that is. Much like Oran Park, if you've not driven Ruapuna Park, and if you have driven Oran Park, the first turn there is very similar. The first and second turn is very similar to Ruapuna Park. Hauer still in the 6th, back to the front of the field once again. Still Kovalik, still leads. Still Zinski in 2nd. Camp looks like it's opened up on this lap. Kovalik makes his way up this hill. Of course, the extra weight in Zinski's car won't be helping his tyre wear either. Neither will it be doing the same in Fish's car. Kovalik is completely weight free, so he can just drive his car like it's qualifying. Be nice and smooth with it at the same time. 1.5 seconds is that gap, so Zinski lost half a second on that lap. Fish hasn't gained anything on Zinski either, so he's also lost half a second. Kovalik didn't set a faster lap. Lovely late apex there from Kovalik as he comes out of the first turn. He was very focused here today. He was angry at himself in the first race at Kuritaber, and in the second race he went out and won it, and he's angry about the recent bugs and disconnections he's had in the last couple of races, so maybe he'll do the same here, channel that anger into a excellent result. He'll become only the second two-time winner of the championship so far. But 8 seconds now is the gap, so he's really beginning to pull away here. And Abraham, unfortunately, has dropped way back off Matthias Fish. 3.5 seconds now, sorry, is the gap, with the gap back to Ryback pretty much the same as it was before. Sebastian Hauer just tracking Ryback, but not in a position to be able to challenge. Just has to stick it out, not get too frustrated with that car. Car sliding around with that extra weight. But Carlson has made it past Hagman. So has Mika Behrens. What's happened to Hagman? Alidisha's made his way past. There's Wheelie, he's past his teammate. Myers is in 11th. Where is Hagman? Hagman's back to 12th. So something has happened to Marcus Hagman. Another great start to the race like he had at Donington Park. Once again it's gone sour in the middle of the race. So he's back in 12th spot. In 13th spot is Irvin Anderson. We saw him turned around after running strongly earlier. Oh, it looks like it's going quite slowly here. In fact, actually, oh no, it's just a trick of the camera. With Ronald Fox in 14th spot. And he'll be pleased he's not last, actually. In fact, actually, when you first go into a championship, you're always just pleased not to be the guy with the wooden spoon. Often I feel like that. Ralph Becker is the one with the wooden spoon, unfortunately at the moment. Back to the front of the field. 15 runners here. Kovalik from Mazinski, from Fish. What is the gap this time? It's not going to tell us. That's nice of it, isn't it? Anyway, 9 laps to go. These laps are racing by, in fact, actually, we're already a third of the way through the race. I can't do my maths. 9 laps to go, that means 6 laps have gone by, which means we're 2/5 of the way through the race, not a third. A third will be 5, Ryan. Getting back to the action. Behrens and Aladish is the next piece of action. And there is Mika Behrens, and he has Aladish right behind him. They may look like they're teammates, but they're not in fact. Aladish's teammates with Abraham, who's in 4th spot at the moment. Abraham is 5th in the championship. He's 72 points behind his teammate Aladesh. No Carson Schumacher here today, which is unfortunate for him because he's a strong 7th in the championship at the moment. The Aladesh, I don't know what. Those different lines that you see have completely put you off as a commentator because you can't hear the engine notes or anything at the moment when you're a commentator. You just all you see is cars going around on the track, and that was very strange, and it's exciting to see though. All these different lines around the track, people sweeping and sweep out. Some people just like to sweep it as fast as possible and just sort it out on the next corner anyway. Looks like it's only a matter of time before Aladesh finds a gap here to go through, and that will put him into 8th spot. He'll just be 2 points behind, 2 places, sorry, behind Sebastian Hauer. But he should have been gaining, of course. That's the problem. He needs to be ahead of Sebastian Hauer to make this a successful race. Can't be losing ground. Because as you lose ground, you also lose races to make it back up in once again. Aladesh crosses the line, and he's some 4 seconds behind Andreas Carlsen. So he may not even make it up to Andreas Carlsen in this race. He has to lap over half a second quicker per lap, unless of course Carlsen makes a mistake. So Kovalik is still leading. Uzinski is still in 2nd, of course, and Matthias Fish still in 3rd. Oh, nice and boring at the front of the field. I'm sure Kovalik loves it that way. He's going to be taking this win if it just stays as it is. Sebastian Hauer for Automotive Sports. He's losing ground now on Rybak. It's the car sliding around in those slow corners. That extra weight's just pushing the car and make it slide across the top of the surface. You'll see it here in a couple of corners here. There's a slide, and you'll see it once again here. The car will just skid on. Didn't skid on that time around. Damn you, Sebastian. You're driving well. In fact, as the action has died down for a bit here, let's go on board with Sebastian Hauer. He's leading the championship. Let's see how he's coping with those extra 138 kilos. Welcome back to the NRE GT3 Masters. You spent a lap there with the championship leader Sebastian Hauer, the reigning champion also. And he's driving pretty smoothly with that extra weight on board, but it is harming him, especially in those braking zones. A couple of little lock-ups and little running deeps also. Not necessarily the middle of the corner that really harms, where the weight harms the car. We'll get my words out eventually. It's the braking zones, acceleration zones, where it's it really harms the car. And of course, the first loading of the car into the corner also, when you first turn in, you feel the extra weight as the car has to grip and change direction. It doesn't like doing it. It doesn't like doing it anyway, never mind with that extra weight on board. Just on the subject of Aladish catching Carlson, he is catching him quickly enough to make it a factor at the end of the race. Gap is down to 3.1 seconds. It was 4.7, so he's gained 1.6 in 2 laps. That's 0.8 of a second. He's another 1. He gets another 3.2. Then he will be right behind him, and that will be in 4 laps' time. In theory, of course, depends on any mistakes. All right, even if he might even go faster, so I'll give him 2 laps to get by. In theory, but looking forward to that battle at the end of the race. Aladish looking to salvage something from that spin he had early on. But whatever happens, he will lose ground to Sebastian Hauer, it seems. There is Carlson. There is Aladish. That is the gap he has to make up, and of course now he can see his prey. And when you can see the car ahead of you, and they're just in the distance, when you can see your target, it's just an extra motivator. Oh, I can see him, I can see him, I can see him, and you get going. It's much, much better than lapping by yourself, I have to say. But back to the front of the field, we're not saying too much of Sven Kovalik in this race because it's been really boring. Has led every single lap so far. Damn you, Sven. About to start his 11th lap then. Yeah, started 11th lap after that's 10 laps he's completed so far. Another fastest lap rate for Kovalik, so he is looking after his tyres very well indeed. 10 laps and still setting fastest laps, still going faster and faster, so very impressive from Kovalik. Zinsky has lost a heap of ground on that lap as a result of that burst from Kovalik, and Fish has lost loads and loads of ground on Zinsky. Maybe he's made a mistake somewhere, run wide or something, because the gap is now 4.3 seconds to Zinsky. It was only a couple of seconds earlier in the race. 4th is Marcel Abraham. He'll be pretty happy with that. 5th, Mike Ryback. He'll also be pretty happy with that. He wasn't racing at Donington Park, as we mentioned earlier. Sebastian Hauer in 6th, so 2.3 seconds between Ryback and Hauer. Of course, Ryback is helping his teammate Fish out there with that, because he's a position ahead of Hauer, allowing Fish to gain more points in this championship hunt. Hagman has caught and passed Sebastian Meisner, as you can see. That's Stefan Meisner. Sebastian Hauer and Stefan Meisner. I do apologise for getting all these first names wrong. I don't know why I do it. It doesn't happen normally. Back now. There is Carlson. There is Aladish. There is Whedon. Whedon was back in 12th spot. In fact, back in 13th spot, I think, with that slow spin he had. One of those spins that you just cannot catch and you can't stop. And it takes you ages to stop, and you stop and you end up stopping at the wrong angle to the track, and it takes you ages to turn around, and you're on the grass. Oh, it's just so frustrating. And I'm afraid Whedon had one of those moments. There's Behrens in 10th, with Hagman in 11th. He's got past Meisner. Meisner not had a good run here at all, I would say. And a poor qualifying, and there's a poor race so far as well. Was much stronger at Ruapuna, especially in the second race at least, with Oyvind Andersen in 13th spot. Gap is still 2.7 seconds, as you can see there on your top left. And Fox is still ahead of Ralph Becker. Let's see the gaps of Carlson and Aladish. The gap is 3.4. The gap is 3.4, so he's not gained what he should have gained in the last couple of laps. Maybe his tyres will need to go off with that extra 96 kilos, which is a huge amount also. Poor Steph. 3 seconds now is the gap, so he's gained just a 10th on this lap. The battle on track. No, some of the drivers are closer together. This is the one that is has the most behind it, I would say, of all the battles on track. That was in 3.5, so he's lost a couple of tenths there. If these tyres are just going off, what Carlson has to do is not make a mistake. Unfortunately, from what I've seen so far of the Net Racing Europe Championship, Carlson does tend to make mistakes. Makes at least one a race so far, the one I've seen. So hopefully, he does not make that mistake well, a mistake today, in this race. If he does, Aladish will be through in a flash, and so probably... Oh, is that Carlson back in the pits? Is that Carlson back in the pits? It is Carlson back in the pits. Carlson is out of this race. Unbelievable! Carlson's out of this race. Just talking about... I thought I couldn't see him ahead of us on track at one point, but I thought maybe he'd just disappear around a corner. But Carlson is out. So Aladish is up to 7th without having to catch him at all. That is gutting for poor Andreas Carlson. Carlson running very well indeed. 7th spot was a very strong result. Not very strong result, but a strong result. And he would have been very pleased with that 7th place. Would have helped him in the championship also. 6th in the championship. That would have been solid points. And now he's out of it. And of course, we've been denied the seeing whether Aladish could have caught Andreas Carlson. Now all we have to do really is just see if Sven Kovalik wins this race. Doesn't make a mistake. I'm sure he won't. He made a couple at Ruapuna. Needs to keep his nerve. Brzezinski has taken a chunk of time out of him on this lap so far. Brzezinski, of course, has that extra 60 kilos. That's not helping him at all. Ooh. Kovalik doesn't need that. Doesn't need to get too leery on the exit of the corners. They need to push too hard. He's got 3 laps to go. In fact, 2.5 laps to go now. And he's coming towards end of his 13th lap. 2 laps to go at the end of this lap. Long course, though, of course. It's 6.4 kilometers this track. Put that in layman's terms. You walk around about 4 miles an hour. So it would take you almost a whole hour to walk around this track. I apologise if you can hear the seagulls once again. Obviously having a party in just outside. And so Kovalik, there he is, completing his 13th lap. 2 to go. He's gained some time on that run through, no doubt about that. Keeping Kovalik honest at the moment. Kovalik can't afford to let up. That's important when you're chasing. Keep the pressure up. If you don't keep the pressure up, the other person can relax. And you put pressure on, that's what breeds mistakes. Pressure. Complacency also breeds mistakes, of course, but pressure does it more often than complacency. Of course, if you're complacent, you've usually got a big enough lead to get away with a mistake. Brzezinski's just gained a couple of tenths again in the middle of that middle sector. See the gaps. It should be just around this corner. In fact, it's not giving us a split at all. Around the previous corner anyway. Oh, there is a split now. Oh, a bit delayed. Oh, it is. I was correct. It is the correct part of the course. All these left-right corners are confusing in the Czech Republic. I must say, I'm not a big fan of this track. I do hate driving it. I know a lot of people who drive GT cars love this track. But I've got to say, I absolutely detest it. Whisper it quietly, though. So, final lap for Kovalik. And he has a 2.3 second gap. Fish is 8 seconds back of the lead, so Fish has really dropped off dramatically in this race. Marcel Abraham has dropped back into the clutches of Mike Ryback. Let's just check that out for a second. The gap is only 1.3 between those two. Ryback has accelerated and Abraham has dropped back. Nobody else is changing position at the moment. Plenty of big gaps. And there we are. There is the gap. Right behind Abraham. Is Abraham having difficulties? And gap is less than 1.3 now, I would say. Oh, and Abraham's gone wide again. 0.8, look. So he's in trouble. Marcel Abraham in trouble. Mike is closing. Now is Kovalit though. I have to give him his dues. Put on an excellent race here, as would be expected to some degree, of course, with him being weight free, one of the fastest drivers so far this season. Quickly check back with Ryback and Abraham, sorry. Abraham is struggling, look. Really struggling. What do you do here? Looks like he's going to hold him off. But Kovalit is definitely going to hold the whole field off to finish this race. And he is about to take his second win of the season. A lights to flag win for Sven Kovalit. Across the line he comes, 29 minutes 20. Average 160 kilometers an hour. That's how fast this track is, of course. And an excellent result there for Sven Kovalit. He wins the race. Second spot to Dario Kozinski. That's great for his championship challenge. Third spot for Matthias Fish. Excellent points. Banked them. Lovely, lovely bank points for him. Fourth spot for Abraham. Fifth for Ryback. Sixth for Hauer. And so Fish will gain lots of points over Hauer. But of course, the big storyline is this man, Aladish. Winner last time out. Started fourth in the grade. Got to a bad start. Drove the inside in the opening lap of Whedon and dropped back, and in the end salvaged the 7th spot, but he lost points to Hauer and lost lots of points to Fish. So I think the championship is extremely close right now. In fact, I think Fish may be almost level on points with Hauer. But congratulations once again to Ben Kovalit, of course. He's the man. He's the guy who's won this race. Barons in 9th, Hagman 10th in the end, Owen Anderson in 11th, 12th, Meisler on a Fuchs. Box. We say Fuchs in this language, in English it's Fox, of course. Well, Fox got 13th spot, I believe, in the end. Yes, he did. Ralph Becker in 14th, with poor Andres Carlson, the only driver not to finish the race, in 15th spot. Was in 7th when he either disconnected or getting crashed or whatever the case may be. So we're going to take a quick break then, and we will be right back after a couple of minutes. And stick around. We'll be right back for the second qualifying session. I think we should go on board with Hagman more often. He seems to drive better when the camera's focusing on him. Some great lines there from Marcus Hagman, and a decent lap time also at the end of it, especially in race trim. I think he's fastest in warm-up at the moment, so I think he's got a point to prove in this second race coming up. Just a quick recap once again what happened in that first race. Kovalit lights the flag victory. Kozinski lights the flag second. Third spot was Matthias Fish, lights the flag third spot. The action was in behind. The stories were in behind. Aladish started 4th. Got a poor start. Was back to 8th. Had to dive down the inside of Whedon in a very awkward part of the racetrack as we go now into the race session. Went back down to 13th. Fought his way back to 7th in the end. Hauer had a poor qualifying session. He started in 10th. He finished in 7th. Ryback started in 5th. He finished in 5th. Abraham started in 7th, if I recall correctly, and he finished in 4th. So good result for Marcel Abraham. Now the field is gridding up. In fact, it's gridded up. Is gridded a word? I'm sure gridded is a word. It is now a word. And they're about to start their formation lap as we get underway. Kovalik burning his tyres as much as possible to get some heat into them and then jumping on the brakes once again straight afterwards. Sometimes there are very different approaches on these formation laps. In fact, some drivers like them and some drivers don't like them. Of course, there is the philosophy of, it gets you nicely calmed down after that intense qualifying session, the one session where you're just not quite calm enough. Just wander around the circuit nice and calmly. All your nerves get calmed down, and you can sit on the grid, and away you go, and it's great. Or there's the other point of view looking at it that, I'm going around and I'm getting more and more excited because I'm about to start the race, and instead of having 30 seconds to get excited about the race, I have a whole 3 minutes to get excited about the race. So there's that issue there. So from my point of view, I love the formation lap. Set off, nice and clean, come to the grid, park it on the grid, away you go. But I know some people don't like it at all. So it all depends on how you handle these things. And although of course these aren't real race cars, you still do get that tense feeling, especially when you're further at the grid than you're used to, for example. Or even if you're used to winning all the time, if you're in the lead, that's when you get nervous. It's the same as anything really. If you're winning a football match, for example, and it's narrow that you're winning it by, and it's 1 minute to go, and it's 1 goal in it, it's all nervous, and you want to do well, but it's you're worried about not doing well also, and it's so close to disaster and all that sort of stuff. And it's the same kind of feeling that you get. I've won plenty of races in my time, and I've lost plenty of races in my time. I'm not a terrible driver, in fact, actually. Unusually for a commentator, I actually don't know any commentators that drive well. Can't think of any at all. There was one, Scott Woodwis, I think, who drives okay. Nick Rowland, I think, used to drive okay, doesn't drive anymore. Liam Jenkins is terrible. Simon Smith is terrible. So, of all the commentators I know, I'm the quickest, which is lovely. It's lovely, that is. And obviously, I'm the most modest as well. Yeah, I'm the most modest commentator and the quickest. Anyway, coming towards the end of the lap, here we are, heading up the hill. This is the view from pole sitter, once again, Sven Kovalik's Ferrari. Looking back at the field. There's that big hill. Cars go very lightly to come over there because, of course, the braking zone is kind of right on that crest. It completely upsets your car, and it's like, why put a crest there? Because it completely upset my car when I'm just about to turn in for a very fast left-right. So it'll be quite difficult through there. Field's now going to grid up. Great shot as we look back over the grid as the field forms up for this race. There's Kovalik. There's Uzinski. There on your right. Third is Aladic. Fourth is Fish. Fifth is Carlson. Great for him. He disconnected in the first race. Be hoping that doesn't happen once again. While 6th is Abraham, 7th is Ryback, and 8th is Howard. 4 lights. Here we are, and away we go. There's a good start once again from Aladic. Very good indeed, and a better start this time around good start from Kovalik, shall I say, and a much better start from Aladic this time around. And looks like he's been overtaken though by Matthias Fish. Looking at it now, no, Aladic has managed to stick it on the inside, and Fish trying to go around the outside. Who we lost there? I'm sure we just lost somebody. 5th spot is Hagman. 6th spot, there is Anderson. Where has Ryback gone? He was around just a second ago and heading into that first turn. There's Carlson. 7th spot is Hauer. So Carlson had a good start to the race. He was in 5th when he started. There is 7th Hauer. 9th, there is Whedon with 10th spot is Mika Behrens. Yeah, 11th spot is Stefan Meisner. 12th spot, there is Becker. 13th is Fox. 14th is Marcel Abraham. So I wonder, it must have been Ryback and Abraham got together at that first turn. So it looks like Marcel Abraham and Mike Ryback got together at that first turn, and Mike qualified behind Marcel. So the suspicion, only this is a suspicion, would be that Mike contacted Marcel Abraham somewhere during that. But still leading is Kovalik. Still second is Uzinski. Third this time is Aladic. Much happier with that, considering his start in the first race. So Kovalik, Uzinski close behind once again. Not able to do anything about it at the moment. We saw at Ruapuna Park, we saw that he couldn't touch Sebastian Hauer in the first race, Uzinski at Ruapuna, but in the second race he had absolutely the measure of Sebastian Hauer. So we may see a repeat here. Not a foregone conclusion at all that Kovalik will win this race. Even though he has the lightest car and is also one of the fastest drivers. Brzezinski. There is Aladish. He's got Fish behind him. Fish will be fighting as hard as he can to get past Aladish early on. Try not to let these top two get away, but I don't think he can do anything about them anyway. Considering the first race, Aladish and Fish have raced together so many times. 5th is Hagman now. 6th spot is Anderson. What has happened here? 7th spot is Hauer. I think that's actually correct. Anderson has had a stonking start to this race. Once again at a great start. Unfortunately, he made a mistake in the first race. That saw him drop back down. But hopefully, he's not going to make the same mistake this time around. Hauer there. Mind you, once again, he has 138 kilos of penalty weight on board. Aladish has 96, whereas Fish has 60, Brzezinski 65. So Brzezinski's great performances here are put into the context of that. 8th spot is Whedon. Hagman's had a great start to this race once again. I don't know what it is with Hagman's starts, but they are absolutely amazing lately. Rupuna's second race, Donington first race, last race here. Hopefully this time he doesn't make a mistake which undoes all that hard work. Carlson is back to 14th, I think. Maybe Carlson's back to 5th. Oh no, he's back to 15th. So he's last. So I'm afraid if he doesn't disconnect, he makes a mistake, poor Anders Carlson. And it looks like there's a big bump in the front of that bumper actually. In the oh, I can't do that with the controls that I have. So used to be able to look at the car. I can't quite see. Maybe you viewers can see and help me out. Yeah, it looks like the left wing is pushed in. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, Carlson is back to 15th spot, and he will not be happy with that at all. Second last is Ryback. And Brzezinski! Brzezinski's back to 13th spot. What has happened here? We've missed that somehow. Not quite sure what has happened to Brzezinski, but he's back to 13th spot. That's a big, big story. Brzezinski was challenging for the lead. Looks like he was the only driver who could possibly challenge Kovalik for this win. As Fish sets a fast lap, so maybe he could challenge. But that is big, big news. And that's very, very costly indeed. Brzezinski is now way, way back. He's lost 13 seconds to the leader. That's cost him some 11 places also. He will be immensely annoyed at himself. And he's now back there with Abraham ahead of him. Looks like Abraham's just overcut the exit of that corner there, and Brzezinski's going to go straight past. Hopefully hopefully for himself, of course, he will be able to make the move on the outside here. He's got 65 extra kilos on board, but drives it in lovely and deep. You should see Brzezinski make lots of progress here. He is probably the second fastest driver, or second fastest car or package. Oh, and right back! Right down the inside! Right down the inside of Marcel Abraham. And Abraham is... Oh, where is Abraham gone? There he is. Abraham has gone straight off the track. Ryback decided I wanted that piece of spot. I was alongside. And Abraham obviously didn't see him, or refused to see him. And straight off the track has gone Marcel Abraham. So, 3 big stories here. Ryback and Abraham involved in the first lap. Brzezinski, second lap, gone off the track. He's now having to find his way back. And the third story, once again, Ryback and Abraham. Ryback down the inside. Abraham into the weeds. Has to rebuild from there. Checking back now, as he's already up to 11th spot, already up to 10th in fact. Oh, he's gone too deep there as he tries to get past Becker. Becker fights back. Becker leaves just enough room on the exit. Good driving there from Ralph Becker. Didn't squeeze Brzezinski off too much, and considering the speed advantage Brzezinski has had this race over Becker, had this event over Becker, it was a very, very wise thing to do there also as well. That was a dangerous spot for Brzezinski, and Brzezinski has only himself to blame, in fact, for putting himself in such dangerous positions. Aladish, fastest lap of the race, 56.871. Have they taken the weight out of that car? Has he gone around the track and thrown it out? Because it's absolutely flying at the moment. It's faster than Kovalik, who is completely without weight. Aladish has 96 kilos. And with Brzezinski not gone to the track, that means Aladish is second, which means he will regain some ground on Sebastian Hauer, who is still in that 7th spot and will have to, I think, hope that people make mistakes ahead of him. Brzezinski is in 10th and he's some 4 seconds now behind Stefan Meisner. That shouldn't be too much of a problem to catch up to, but Mika Behrens is some 7 seconds ahead of him. That will be the problem, getting past further than 9th spot. He's going to have to hope for a couple of mistakes and hope he doesn't make one himself. Maybe he was challenging for the lead when he made that mistake. it seems likely that he was challenging for the lead and sort of went off. But we don't know, of course. We didn't quite catch it, unfortunately. Any damage on Kovalik's car? Nothing too obvious that I can see. No, I don't see any damage at all. Any telltale signs of contact, challenging each other. Kovalik still leading. Second spot is still Aladish. Third spot is Matthias Fish with fourth spot Marcus Hagman. I'm very, very pleased with that. Fourth spot for Marcus Hagman. Great stuff. Just he will be praying that he doesn't make a mistake this time around, because he has had strong midfield runs. This is not even midfield, this is further in the grid, of course. But he's made mistakes in the last few races. He can't do it again. He can't throw these kind of results away. Or even Anderson is in fifth spot at the moment. He's shown some great pace, if a little ragged, making mistakes. So we'll see what he can do here. He's got Whedon behind him, and this is the most pace Anderson has shown all season. From the races I've followed anyway. Kovalik is still 0.8 of a second ahead of Aladish. Great effort from Aladish to be pulling away from Fish and holding on to Kovalik, but one does wonder whether he can hold on in terms of tyre wear. That is the big issue, because of course, as an extra 96 kilos on board, it takes its toll across the race distance. Power is still in 7th, 8 stop Behrens, 9th is Meisner, and 10th is Zinski. Let's go back to Zinski, and he's almost caught already Stefan Meisner, but he's still 7 seconds behind Mika Behrens. When you've got weight on board, you just can't make mistakes, because it's you can maintain position if you maintain position with weight on board, but it's so much more difficult to gain positions when you have weight on board. That's the key. Looks like Rosinski's going to make short work here of Stefan Meisner, and make short work shortly, it seemed like. Oh, and Rosinski almost into the back of Meisner there, and he carried more speed into the corner. We're going to dive down the inside of Meisner here. This is where Aladish tried to do that on Whedon. Whedon didn't allow him much room, and as is his wont, it wasn't an illegal move, but Aladish put himself in that position by the poor start and then diving down the inside. Of course, anxious to make up for that poor start, and that's often where more mistakes come from. Oh, we've lost. We've lost there. Stefan Meisner, where's he gone to? 30th spot, there is Meisner. He's made a mistake just after Rosinski went past him. So, out of shot, Meisner's disappeared into the grass somewhere, and Ryback's got past him, as has Ronald Fox. 14th here is Marcel Abraham. He'll be fighting his way back. I'm not sure what's going to happen if he finds his way back up to Mike Rayback once again. Because if this was NASCAR, there'd be no doubt at all what would happen. Battle for 4th spot is pretty close, probably the closest battle on track at the moment. Let's monitor the gap of Rosinski. 6.7 seconds to Behrens, so needs really to get on with it. He's got 10 laps to go, which means he needs to gain well over half a second a lap on Behrens. And if he wants to get anywhere near 4th spot, Hagman, he has to gain a second a lap. He probably could do that. He needs to be on the marks every single corner, never mind every single lap, every single corner. He has to drive corner by corner now, see whether he can get up and into, a top 5 spot. Of course, those gaps are only gaps if there's nobody in the way, and people are in the way. Getting past people slows you down. But of course, these guys might battle anyway, and that, of course, will help Rosinski. So you've got 2 trade-offs there. It's a fascinating aspect of motor racing, as Hauer almost dived down the inside of Whedon there, as Anderson didn't get off that corner very well at all. On board now with Sebastian Hauer. He's looking ahead. There's Whedon ahead, and ahead of him is Anderson. Pulling away from Anderson is Hagman. Considering the track record of these 3 ahead of Sebastian Hauer, it wouldn't be presumptuous of Sebastian Hauer to think he may get 4th position without doing too much work here, because these 3 drivers ahead have made mistakes in every single race I've seen so far, and I don't mean to put the mockers on them or even to be disrespectful at all. It's just, of course, that is what's happened in the past, and one would assume that would happen in the future. It's Kovalik, fastest lap of the race. Howard there taking as much curb as he dares. Kovalik has opened up 0.3 of a second on that lap. What is Osinski got for us? Losing ground to the leader. He's now only 5.2 behind Behrens, so he's on course to get up to Behrens, but he needs to be on course really to get ahead of Hauer. That's the key. Gaining points rather than losing points. That is the key. Oh, and that's Anderson getting out of shape as Whedon has gone past him. Anderson in the braking zone there looked a little bit wobbly. Managed to get it back once again. Whedon is now for 6th, or 4th and 5th, should I say, for the two Mercedes. A hangover racing team. Maybe that's why Hagman has made mistakes in there in these races that I've seen. He's just a bit hungover and can't quite concentrate. But anyway, I wish him luck for this one. I hope he can get that 4th spot, because that will be a massive fillip for him, and he will absolutely be buzzing of a 4th spot. I have no doubt about that. He's improved massively throughout the season so far. Back at the front of the field, let's just check in this action. Kovalik still leading. You've seen this quite a lot. Aladish is dropping back. Looks like a 2-second gap now, in fact, and Fish is gaining on Aladish. So Aladish has to be careful here. He hasn't pushed the car too hard too early. If he has, those tyres will not recover. Gap is a second apparently, but looks much bigger than that to me, I have to say. See the gaps as they come over the line. This is final set of corners. What is that gap? There goes Kovalik to 7 laps. 1.7 seconds is the gap now. Yes, it was more than 1 second. 0.9 to Fish though. 4th is still Hagman. 5th is still Whedon. 6th is still Anderson. It has Hauer right behind him. Can't quite see Hauer in that shot, but there he is now. He's lapped as fast as the leader on that lap. He's 3.4 behind Behrens. He can definitely, I think, get up to Hauer and pass. In fact, I would fancy his chances of getting up to Whedon, the rate he's going at the moment. We'll just be hoping that while he's in clean air, everyone battles. He doesn't want them battling when he gets up to them. He wants them to be battling while he's in clean air. And then he can take advantage and cruise right up to the back of them and say, thank you very much, I'll take that position. I apologise, my phone just ringing. We follow Sebastian Hauer. He's the championship leader still by 10 points. But as it stands, Hauer will get points for 7th spot. Do we get? I haven't got quite to hand at the moment. 7th spot would give him 18 points, give him 253. Whereas Matthias Fish is in 3rd, getting 26 points. And he will be on 251. So that shows how close the championship will be if it stays like it is. That's the lap of the race once again from Kovalik, but of course, look at that. This is the battle. Here we are, Fish on Aladish. We saw this battle last race, last event should I say, and it was Fish who lost out in the end. Oh, great driving there from Aladish, right around the outside of Matthias Fish. Hold him off at the moment. Back up, press the wrong button there, looking back from Aladish on Matthias Fish. How long can Aladish hold Fish off for? Fish has an advantage of 36 kilos of penalty weight here. Kaczynski 2.9 behind Behrens now. And we're gaining a bit faster on that particular lap. Anyway, at least he's gaining. Fish is pushing very hard indeed, trying to get past Aladish. Not able to do it at the moment though. Let's just check back in the field. There's Hagman still in 4th spot. And Whedon still in 5th. Anderson still in 6th, with the Hauer in 7th. These guys are still together. They're not battling though. Kind of all line astern at the moment. Hauer can't really do too much about it with that extra weight. I think he got a good run up the hill there though. We put pressure now on Anderson. Kovalik finishes lap 9. Aladish 3.5 seconds behind now, 0.3 over Fish. Just see if no, Hauer's not got a good run out of there. Again, just using too much curb, sends him off wide. And there we can see in the background, there was Osinski, very close to Mika Behrens. Laps as fast as the leader once again that lap around. 1.6 seconds is now the gap between Osinski and Behrens. That is the gap we're looking for. That's the big story in this race. 10th is Ryback, 11th is Becker, 12th is Marcel Abraham. I thought would have got further up than he is at the moment. Excuse me. Kovalik still first. This is the big battle on track at the moment as well. 2 storylines we have at the moment. Aladish Fish and Osinski. His run up through the field. Still so close between these two. Aladish isn't cracking yet. Kovalik's loving this, of course. This distraction is allowing him just to disappear. And still it seems that Fish can't do anything about Aladish at the moment. Osinski's up to 9th now. No, he's still in 9th, sorry, should I say. But he's right up to the back of Behrens, should I say now. So, Behrens is now under pressure. Osinski needs to deal with Mika Behrens swiftly and surely. That's what he needs, because he's got 5 laps, in fact 4.5 laps. After this, gain on Sebastian Hauer. The gap is 2 seconds to Sebastian Hauer. Looks like the Aladish Fish battle has calmed down at the moment. Let's check in on it once again. There it is. Oh, and Aladish has gone a bit deep there. Fish looking. Aladish defended, just making sure. Now they head out of the corners once again. Fish is once again all over the back of it. That's not a place to pass. Just showing his nose, letting Aladish know if he makes a mistake, he's going to be right there. Oh, Fish around! We saw this at the last race. It's deja vu. Deja vu for Matthias Fish. He gets it back, gets it back going once again. He's going to rejoin ahead just about of Marcus Hagman. But we saw this at Donington Park. Exact same issue. He spun it while pursuing Aladish at Donington Park at the hairpin. And there we see he was trying a bit too hard. Seems that Aladish brings the worst out in Fish. Once again, he's made that mistake. 9th spot is Behrens, so in all action we saw that we were watching, Osinski has got past Mika Behrens, and Derek Osinski now is just 1.3 seconds behind Sebastian Hauer and absolutely charging through the field. This is a good run, of course, but of course, again, on the other flip side of the coin, should be in 2nd spot. Should be in 2nd spot. He has no chance of getting 2nd spot now. Once the gap comes over the line, that must be less than a second now, just about. Oh, it's 1.4 still, actually. In fact, didn't get any time at all on Sebastian Hauer. And Hauer's surely going to lose a position here. He will hope, Sebastian will be hoping that Osinski will mix it with Hagman and Fish and Whedon and Anderson and put one of them into a mistake so Hauer can gain a position, because Hauer's been stuck. Qualified in 8th, he's been in 7th in the entire race. In fact, if it wasn't for Rosinski's mistake, he'd be way back. He'd be back in 8th spot. In fact, oh, there's Anderson off the track. There is Anderson off the track. Anderson out of 6th spot, Hauer to 6th, Rosinski to 7th. As I was saying, those are the drivers that are most liable to make a mistake. Oh, this is a championship battle for sure. We were talking about the points positions, and Sebastian Hauer has gained a position now, so that puts him another couple of points ahead of Matthias Fisch. Kovalik, of course, still leading this race by a country mile, the proverbial country mile at least, because 4.4 seconds ahead of Aladish, who's some 10 seconds now ahead of Fisch after that mistake, and Hagman is just beginning to just fade back, just ever so slightly, into the clutches of his teammates. Teammates in 5th, and the championship leader, Sebastian Hauer, is in 6th. Looks like he's going to be overtaken by Dario Kozinski pretty soon, though. Since he's got the magnets on. .12th lap for Kovalik. 3 laps to go. Just 6 minutes for his 3rd win of the season. Nobody has taken 3 wins this season so far. He'll be the most winningest driver of the year, but of course, much down to the fact he's had 2 disconnections in the last couple of races. Here comes Rosinski. Will he make a move into the first corner? He does not make a move into the first corner. I would have been tempted, I would have to say. I would have been very tempted indeed. Hauer, ill right there. 20 points at the moment for Hauer. 18 for Rosinski. Oh, contact! Oh, what on earth was that about, boys? Calm it down. Not sure what happened there, whether Rosinski came across and Hauer or the other way around, but that was really very unnecessary indeed. Oh, off the track, it's Fisch again! Fisch has gone off the track! Fisch has made the mistake once again! And it's Hagman who's in 3rd spot. No, it's not, it's Whedon! Whedon's into 3rd spot. He's on the podium at the moment. Hagman is still in 4th spot. He lost position and gained a position. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he had to avoid Matthias Fisch, for example. Oh, that is a big loss for Hagman. He could be on the podium right now, but Fisch, that's the big story. Matthias Fisch is now way back. He's back in 8th. Is he back in 9th? He's back in 9th spot. 2 big mistakes, and that is very costly indeed. Poor Sebastian Hauer. He's going round. Not poor Sebastian Hauer, but you know, Sebastian, just everything falls into his lap at the moment in the GT3 Masters. It's just being allowed to accumulate points at the moment and to gain points and to stop people gaining points on him. He's not making the mistakes. Rosinski surely is going to get on the podium here now, which will not be a bad result at all, I would say. Because considering he should have been 2nd, I mean, that, you know, that's should have been 2nd, but that's only a 4-point loss if he finishes in 3rd spot. And I fancy him to do it. There's got 2 laps to go though. This is the final corner here, so he's got 2 full laps to make his way past Hagman and then jump right on the back of Whedon and make a mistake and make a move there also. He's going to have to get past, I think, Hagman into the 3rd turn though. Pushing ever so hard. How small that Ford GT looks compared to the huge, tall Mercedes SLS. And Rosinski got such a good run through that first turn. He couldn't make the move down the inside into turn 3 because Hagman was so much slower than him in the middle of the corner. Here comes Rosinski. No. Not going to work. Hagman's pushing very, very hard indeed, though. You can see it in the body language of the car. He wants to keep that 4th spot. He's worked so hard for it, but Rosinski knows the importance of getting as many spots as possible. He can smell that 3rd spot, and he needs it. If there's any intention of winning this championship at all, these are the sort of occasions when you just have to make the best of a bad day. And he's actually had a very good day. He's actually put it badly for himself, but he's recovering well. He hasn't panicked, hasn't made another mistake. Now here he is, within touching distance of a 3rd spot. And here comes Rosinski now. Down the hill, into this horrible, horrible braking zone. One of the worst braking zones. I think in all of sim racing, I've got to say, from what I've experienced. And 1 second, I'll be right back. Somebody at my door. It's a very bad timing indeed. Sorry about that, and Zinski goes around the outside of Hagman. He's into third, into fourth, sorry, should I say. And now Hauer is trying to get in the mix also. This is what he wanted. He wanted to be bustling ahead of him, but Zinski's into fourth. Hauer can't make a move. He's still stuck in sixth spot. Last lap, Kovalik is still leading by 5 seconds from Aladish, but can Zinski catch Whedon? Surely not. It's 2 seconds the gap. 2 seconds is surely too much of a gap to make. Kozinski down into turn 3 then. He's ahead of Hagman, but surely he won't catch Whedon now. He just took almost a lap too long to get past Hagman to be able to have a shot at Whedon. It's been a great recovery drive, considering that he should have been at least in second spot for this race. He'll be disappointed to be in fourth spot. Fish looks like he's gaining on Anderson, and this could be an important position for Fish. A few more points can make all the difference at the end of the season. Like it's going to quite make it at the moment. Kovalik, though, he has been imperious here today. Not giving him much airtime in this second race. A little bit more in the first race, but he has been fantastic throughout. He's just going through the penultimate complex of corners now. Up the hill he comes. Doing this now for the 30th time today. It's been 2 race wins. It's been 2 pole positions. It's been 2 fastest laps. It's a perfect weekend and a welcome solve after his issues in the last 2 races. Kovalik takes 2 from 2. Fantastic result for Sven Kovalik. He is a winner once again, 3 times this season now, and the Dane looks like he may mount an unlikely challenge for this title. Second spot to Aladish, a great result for him in that second race. Third spot is going to go to Whedon, just Zinski almost made it to him. Fourth spot to Whedon, 5th to Hauer, 6th to Hagman. Oh, Hauer got past Hagman in the end, but still a great result for Hagman. 6th he gets. 7th spot could go to Behrens. Mika Behrens in 7th spot, he'll be very pleased with that indeed. 8th spot Anderson, 9th spot with Matthias Fish. Well, 10th spot coming across the line, there he is, the very naughty Mike Ryback, I'm sure, from the point of view of Marcel Abraham anyway. 11th spot for Marcel Abraham, 12th spot for Becker, 13th for Fox, and 14th for Anders Carlsen. Oh, he won't quite get Fox on the line. Fox beats Carlsen, and 15th spot will be Stefan Meisner. Everybody finished the race this time round. Quick tally up of the points there gives Kovalik 170 points. It gives Aladish 251. It gives, do you know quickly off the top of my head, it gives Zinski have 24 points now then. So Zinski will have 237, while the 5th spot, the 5th spot for Hauer gives him an extra 22 points, gives him 257, whereas 9th spot for Fish gives him 14 points. So it ends, after the exciting races here, it has in fact cut the lead of Sebastian Hauer in the championship. It leaves Sebastian Hauer on 257 points, with 2nd spot, this is from my quick maths, and it's never most reliable my maths, so don't take it for granted. It could definitely change, but it leaves. Let's have a look. It leaves, as I say, Hauer on 257 points, with Aladish on 251, 237 for Matthias Fish. It could be so much more, but of course he spun out of that 3rd spot. 239 for I will start again with this. 257 for Hauer, 251 for Aladish, 239 for Matthias Fish, 237 for Uzinski and 170 for Sven Kovalik. So that means there are just 14 points, in fact 20 points should I say, 20 points between the top 4 in the championship. And although the races were pretty incident-free today, it's very intriguing in terms of the championship battle. And make sure you tune in next time around for more great racing from the NRE GT3 Masters. That's in 4 weeks' time. And we will be going to Brno. Brno, wow. Brno will be a fantastic race. Very tight circuit, lots of slow corners. And these GT cars will be, they will feel like monster trucks around that track. When 30 Clios go around that track, it feels a small track. When these GT cars go around it, anything could happen, and I mean anything. So make sure you tune in for that. Autodromo Riccardo Paletti will be at in Verano de Meligari, and that will be, as I say, in 4 weeks' time, at the same time, 28th of June that will be. And I've been Ryan Cullen. Thank you to all the racers. Thank you to all the spectators, and take it easy. I'll see you next time.
Great tracks. Great cars. Great drivers. NetRacing Europe. That's online racing.